Hey everybody, it's your old pal Robert from ThrillRide.com. How you doing? So this episode we're going to try something a little different. This is going to be a video slideshow of some photos I took at Hong Kong Disneyland right at the end of October in 2018. And I was in China for some business, traveling through the mainland and then eventually ending up in Hong Kong, which was where our return flight home departed from. And of course, being this close to Hong Kong Disneyland, there was no chance I wasn't going to poke my head in and take a look around. And as it turned out, it was kind of a perfect day. As you'll see in the photos, the weather was great, blue skies, not too warm, not too humid. Crowds were moderate at best. It was no problem getting onto every major attraction I hope to see. And just about everything was open. So, all right, let's head on in and just enjoy a look around. All right, so here we are in the entrance plaza that takes you from one of the parking lots to the ticket booth area. There's a lovely welcoming sign, which is, of course, hidden in silhouette. But just through there is this really fun statue welcoming you to Hong Kong Disneyland. And I guess in a reference to the fact that this is on reclaimed land in Penny's Bay, there's kind of this nautical theme, or at least something relating to having fun in the water. You got Mickey on the surfboard riding the whale spout, which goes up and down, which is really fun, and Minnie and Pluto in there, and we'll take a look at that on the way out too. But here we are on our way to the main entrance, and you can see very familiar sight, very Southern California-esque. And of course, still lots of Halloween decorations up. And I'm a little mistaken now exactly what day I was there. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 days before Halloween. Didn't see too much in the way of Halloween events, but lots of decorations. Now, inside the park proper, this is looking back at the train station at the front end of Main Street. Again, very familiar. Anybody who's been to Disneyland here in California will feel pretty at home. The classic City Hall, right inside to the left, I believe. Lots of English signage too, no problem getting around. So yeah, here's another quick look at a section of Main Street, and pretty familiar, but those green hills in the background give it this weird, slightly uncanny valley effect. And this is further down the street looking back. You can see a little wider, a little more akin to Florida's Main Street, but no trolley tracks. They decided not to include that feature. Now we're looking towards the castle. And this was just as they were beginning this huge transformation that's, I think, still ongoing and maybe close to finished. It's a charming little castle. I like it. It's got that Disneyland-esque feeling. The green hills in the background, again, a little funny, but that's going to change. So we'll see what that finally looks like when they reopen that bad boy. So the first land I went into was Adventureland, which is to the left of kind of the hub. Really enjoyed it here. It's pretty different from any Adventureland I've seen anywhere else. Lots of beautiful landscaping, all kinds of exotic plant life and bushes everywhere. The light poles I really dug, and you've got these nice sculptures and carvings everywhere, kind of from all kinds of different exotic cultures. And beautiful. I love this show building kind of A-frame roof, whatever that is. Didn't see the show, but that really bright, vivid coloration caught my eye. And the kind of Jeep here got a nice little explorer vibe going on. You get another good look at one of those light poles. Really beautiful. So cool. Here's another kind of alternate version of one of their light fixtures with a kind of a cool wooden carving. Again, just a beautiful area. So their Jungle Cruise is kind of a weird hybrid of like Rivers of America in what would be kind of Frontierland. And of course, they don't have a traditional Frontierland at this park. So when the park opened, this was kind of their big boat ride. And it circles around an island with the Tarzan's treehouse on it. So again, it's this weird kind of mishmash of Jungle Cruises you've seen before. I liked the variation. It was kind of unique. They did give options of riding in boats that have both English, or rather just English narration and Chinese. So that made life pretty easy. So the waterways, much wider. You see much more of the course the boat takes. It doesn't quite have that intimate sense of mystery coming around bends, but it's just a different kind of experience. And there are some show scenes here that we don't get in any of the other, at least any of the other Jungle Cruises I've been on. Plenty of cool animatronic animals, and their finale is completely unique. And I'm very sorry to say I did not get a single photo of that moment, but it's memorable. And I don't want to spoil it anyway. But of course, you got your animatronic elephants, and they're going to blow some water at us. Can't have a Jungle Cruise without some of that. And the humor was good. We had a pretty lively skipper. She was very energetic. So yeah, had a good time on this Jungle Cruise. It was great. And I'm not a huge fan of Tarzan's Treehouse. I usually don't make time for that. Loved Swiss Family Robinson when I was a kid. So I was a little irked when they did the transformation. But the Tarzan's Treehouse here in Hong Kong, really neat. I don't know if it has as many elevation changes elsewhere, but I felt like there was a lot more to explore here. A lot of waterfalls and really cool grottos. The elephant animatronic in this walkthrough attraction, like, just love that so much. That was a nice bit of plus surprise I didn't expect. So yeah, again, I'm not as familiar with our local treehouse to give it a proper comparison, but definitely enjoyed this. This was really neat. And of course, from the upper levels, get a little peek at some joys to come. Very excited to try out the Hong Kong iteration of Space Mountain. And of course, this guy over here, a brand new, completely bespoke ride. So we'll get to those in just a bit. And just another look at one of the Adventureland entryways. I think this is off to the side somewhere. Beautiful, beautiful all around. Very, very pleasant experience. And I had lunch after kind of walking through Adventureland. This was what that was. So good. One of the best cafeteria-style theme park meals I've ever had. Even kind of convinced myself it was almost healthy. Heading now into Grizzly Gulch. This is the kind of their version of Frontierland that the park opened in, I think it was 2012. So this also has a very familiar vibe to it. Love this sign. Population 108, not counting the bears. So this is kind of a gold rush town vibe, a little more West Coast. And I guess the flavor of this inspired a lot by Grizzly Peak and that section of California Adventure. But a lot of great old rustic kind of frontier type structures and all kinds of really fun signage. I love this up here. Grizzly Gulch, prettiest little boomtown in the high Sierras. So yeah, this all the rock work and the plantings definitely captures kind of that West Coast vibe. I love this. Here's the assay office, and this is where miners would take their gold to find out how pure it was. That's what assay means. Didn't realize that until pretty recently. And of course, you got this great bathhouse sign. Towels, 2 cents. Clean towels, $10 extra. It's quite a pinch. But you know what? If I had the $10, I'd spend it. You got the local newspaper, the Grizzly Gulch Growler, reporting the bear facts since 1888. And there's old Reliable, the saw blade that cut the first log for Big Grizzly Mountain Mine back in 1888. I remember it like it was yesterday. And of course, here's the entrance to the ride itself, the Big Grizzly Mountain runaway mine cars. And man, I love this ride. It was really, really fun. And I'm not the first person to describe it this way, but whoever did, they nailed it. It is absolutely kind of, the love child of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad and Expedition Everest. A little higher up in the thrill scale than Big Thunder, a little lower for me than Expedition Everest. So it really kind of hit that sweet spot for a very thrilling family coaster. The launches, I'm a huge fan of launches, forwards, backwards, a lot of great animatronic surprises. Got on it a few times, and I still don't have a pretty clear sense of what the full layout is. So I always that gives you get a lot of high marks for me if you can create a ride with that much mystery and variability. But yeah, a lot of fun moments climbing up the for namesake peak of the mountain, and some backwards plunges. Love just all the scenic work here. So beautiful, and again, very much capturing that kind of Sierras vibe. I mean, here's an instance. I took a little quick series of photos of the train in action, and I can't tell you whether this is a moment we're going forwards or backwards. Of course, it's almost 2 years since I took the pictures, and that's not helping either. But it's just a really fun, neat ride. I did not get a night ride on it, and I'm very sorry because as I was walking out, the park was it was getting late, and you'll see a photo of it kind of lit up at night. Well, you did. It was in the opening shot of this episode. But yeah, just great. And this little bubbling water pot brought back some fond memories of nature's wonderland at Disneyland way back in the day, which of course was the attraction that preceded Big Thunder. All right, then moved on to Toy Story Land. This is the first and only Toy Story Land I've seen. Obviously, a lot of attractions geared towards the young folk, but look at that scenic work. So great. I mean, I just liked walking around here. The giant Christmas bulb lights, all the oversized toy stuff, great. Of course, their Slinky Dog is a much simpler kind of spinny ride, but looked like a lot of fun. Bit of a queue for that, so I didn't get on that. Really wanted to try the Army Men parachute drop, but this always had a really long line. Close to an hour every time I walk by, so did not get that. Now, the RC Racers definitely wanted to try. It's kind of a roller coaster. Had not been on any one of these kind of half-pipe rides before, so thought I'd give this a whirl, and it was a ton of fun. Now, I was a kid who grew up with Hot Wheels, so you put Hot Wheel branding on something, I'm going to want to try it anyway. But just to get what the ride experience was like, kind of enjoyed it. Loved this work in the queue. The model part plastic frames hanging on the walls, that's just great. And here you can see one of the wheels has been torn away from the frame. Just fantastic. Not really a Hot Wheels kind of thing, but it's all good. It's all about, all kinds of toy cars. So yeah, a lot of fun. I would recommend this ride a lot if the line isn't too long. Kind of a short cycle, but yeah, it was good times. And this Halloween bit here, so great. I really hope they only put up and take down the Scrabble letters and they just leave this creepy Bad Kid toy up all around, because that's the best. And here's another view passing, I think, from Toy Story Land. We're heading over to Fantasyland, and lots of green trees everywhere. Very, very pretty. Lots of shade. So here at Fantasyland, another familiar land to a lot of people who've been to other Disney parks. Here's their carousel. Not quite as shady in this area, but plenty of stuff for the kids. Mickey's PhilharMagic. This is a show I'd never seen before. I guess it started in Paris, but many people told me if I had the chance, see it. I did. I loved it, and I recommend it to you. Really, really fun. And I think this version here in Hong Kong has kind of all the bells and whistles that the Paris show does. And of course, can't have Fantasyland without Dumbo. Didn't get on it, but it's there. They've got a Winnie the Pooh attraction, which I rode. Waited about 25 minutes. It's much better than the California version. Not quite the Tokyo Disneyland version, but it's fun. Just a shot at some more pumpkins, a lot of the Halloween decorations, very lively and kid-friendly here in Fantasyland. And of course, the Mad Hatter teacups. I think this is a fixture at any Fantasyland park in the world. Don't quite understand why, because I can't even look at these in operation without feeling sick. But if you're into them, go for it. Have a great time. And of course, the Genius of Mary Blair on full display in this just fantastic It's a Small World facade. I did not ride that more than once, so I don't have a complete recollection of all the unique features of this kind of version. China and Hong Kong, I recall, have a bit of a bigger presence in this version, perhaps. Now into Tomorrowland. These lands tend to be among my favorite at any Disney park because Space Mountain. So I was very excited to check this version of Tomorrowland out, and obviously they had their new Iron Man experience open pretty recently after I got there, so that was a major attraction to see. You got your Space Mountain, and here is all the new Marvel goodness going on over in this area. A lot of bright, vivid architecture, very Avengers-esque looking. And there are a couple of things here. There's the Iron Man experience, which is the simulator type attraction, very similar to Star Tours. And then they had this other VR experience in the Tech Showcase, the Heroic Encounter with Iron Man. Would have loved to have tried that. That also had hours waits all day long. And you had to reserve a spot too, so very hard to get into. Love these kind of World's Fair type expo posters. Kind of modern, but with a slightly mid-century look to them. If they sold these in the gift shops, I didn't see them, and boy, I sure would have picked a couple up. But here, a little foreshadowing. Take flight over Hong Kong in an Iron Wing tour. That's going to be the vehicle that sends us off on our little adventure over the skies of Hong Kong. So kind of a nice repurposing of the Star Speeder. And yeah, here's kind of the main facade of the ride entrance. Really beautiful. Love that whole gleaming, superheroic kind of look. So this is a really fun ride. I mean, we get in the air, we're cruising around over Hong Kong, and of course Hydra has plans to disrupt our pleasant afternoon. There's a lot of kaboom and a lot of high-tech villainry going on. And of course, Iron Man comes to our rescue and brings us back safely to the Stark Industries outpost right here at Hong Kong Disneyland. So yeah, it's fun. It's a good thing. If you love these kind of cabin simulator attractions, highly recommend it. And it was great to ride the first ever Marvel themed theme park attraction. So that was kind of cool. So Space Mountain, I again am a huge fan of all versions of this attraction. My soft spot is for the Disneyland version, the single track, and this installation here, I believe, is pretty much a clone of the California Space Mountain, and they were still running the Hyperspace Mountain overlay on it. No complaints. I love this ride so much, and it was my last ride of the day too. So yeah, that was awesome. The Starliner Diner was kind of a unique little eatery I'd never seen before. Kind of a different aesthetic too, almost comic book colors. And yeah, they had plenty of billboard or construction walls up around the newest attraction, which of course is the Ant-Man and Wasp Nano Battle, obviously still to come. Yeah, this Tomorrowland definitely felt like an area in transition. Apparently they had an Autopia at one point. That was taken out, so there wasn't that kind of classic Disney Tomorrowland experience. But it was kind of small. I mean, you basically had Space Mountain, the Iron Man attractions, and the Astro Orbiter, which had kind of a funky, silly UFO, a playful kind of UFO thing. So really an area that I think is going to get a lot more love and attention as the years go by. And here we are finally at Mystic Point, the section of the park that I absolutely could not miss. And boy, it didn't disappoint. So amazing. Now, y'all are probably very familiar with the story of this area and attraction. This is kind of their version of a quote-unquote haunted mansion type experience, but because local culture does not embrace kind of ghost stories as readily as we do here, they adapted it to another kind of supernatural tale that doesn't involve the spirits of the deceased. And boy, it's just so much fun. So right across the way is this great Garden of Wonders, part of the collection of Lord Henry Mystic that involves these really fun optical illusions, very low tech, and I would imagine a pretty clear little wink by the Imagineers to contrast to the very high-tech, very high-tech illusions you're going to see once you get inside this house. But it's just great, and it really starts to build the world of Henry Mystic. Clearly he's traveled everywhere and seen all kinds of different cultures. And this is obviously a historical attraction. We're somewhere back in time. According to the official story, it's, I think, 1909 is the period. Yeah, great environmental storytelling. Look at that house. Just magnificent, and definitely communicates. It has a lighter tone than some of the other more scary-leaning, quote-unquote, haunted attractions that Disney has built. And with all the varied architectural influences, again, helps establish that Henry has been all over the world, seen all kinds of different places and met all kinds of different people, and incorporated all that into the design of his complex here. So before we go in, there's the loading dock outside and more of the great cultural antiquities he's brought back to display from Western, Eastern cultures all around the world. You've got your classic sort of bust carvings, and then things that look like something from Asian cultures. And then finally we enter the queue. And although I didn't get a close-up picture of it, I love this kind of ribbon-cutting sepia photo they took when they opened the home originally. And you got this incredible portrait of Lord Henry in his fez with his faithful companion Albert the monkey wearing his matching fez. And I mean, that picture says so much about their relationship and who they are. Really fun picture here of poor Albert in a bit of a scrape. And a little warning, a reminder to parents with kids, this attraction is going to be a little scary. So if they freak out at that picture, take them home. Lovely model of the manor proper. And boy, if they sold these somewhere in the park, I didn't see that either. And I sure would have brought one home. And this great plaque, which explains the mission of societies of explorers and adventurers, Really helps establish the mood. And look at this great portrait of said society. You've got so many characters from other Disney attractions around the world. You've got Hightower from Japan, and Mario Chenier and Dr. Albert Falls, and just great world building. And all these pictures of the collection that we're going to see once we get inside. Nice foreshadowing of some of the experiences that are going to come, and just reinforces how worldly Mr. Mystic is and all the great artifacts he's managed to save and preserve. Yeah, look at that lava god. We're going to be seeing more of the lava god, I guarantee you that. But wonderful queue, really fun. And then, of course, in the pre-show, you get the full story, and it's such a simple, clear story. He's brought back this music box. The music box has the power to animate inanimate objects, and you just can't touch it. And what's going to happen? Good old Albert the Monkey's going to touch it. That's all you need to know. And we get into our Mystic Magneto electric carriage, and we're off to the races. I mean, it's just a great, classic, simple story. Very clear. Every guest can pick it up and understand what's going to be happening very easily. And the ride experience itself, I'm not going to give anything away. You've probably seen videos anyway. But the trackless system, miraculous. The effects, incredible. And look at this place at night. It is just great. So beautiful. So here's Grizzly Peak at night too. Sorry I didn't have the time to grab a night ride, but I'm sure that would have been just a blast and a half, so to speak. Yeah, and here we are heading out the door. And here's the lovely statue at night. You get a better look at Minnie standing on a dolphin and Mickey going to town on the whale. And yeah, that's it. So really good times all around. I definitely, if you're in the area, I would absolutely recommend a visit to this park. They have a couple of bespoke attractions that totally make the ticket price worthwhile. So, all right, I think that's it for this one. And as always, thanks for watching.